Good morning, traders, and welcome to NewsWare's Trade Talk for Friday, July 10th. Okay, let's get into the action. Take a look at the S&Ps. We're flat to lower, 0.02% lower. We were flat to higher, but now a little weakness has crept in. I mean, there weren't any hostilities overnight in the Middle East, which is positive, and sentiment is kind of being supported from some comments from a U.S. official who reaffirmed that the Trump administration is committed to pursuing a diplomatic resolution to the conflict. Without any real tangible results, we're just seeing a little weakness set in. In economic news, Federal Reserve Chairman Kevin Warsh yesterday, he appointed more than a dozen advisors to at least 5 task forces that can conduct a comprehensive review of central banks' data usage. In corporate news, you got to talk about Meta. Meta, yesterday got a bunch of tailwind from some positive news coming out from their AI application, but this morning, the EU regulators, they're out there saying that they need to change their applications like Instagram and Facebook to remove such addictive features. So that's kind of negative, or they're going to face fines. Boeing, ticker BA, they received a nice new order this morning, and the FAA certificate for its 737 MAX 7 aircraft is expected to hit the tape later this month. IPO news, SK Hynix scheduled for an IPO this morning. Might weaken some of the other chip stocks, so be a little careful. On the earnings front, WDFC's trading higher after releasing their quarterly earnings report. Delta was higher, but has since turned a little lower. But this week, we got earnings season coming up, and we got a bunch of the big banks scheduled to report next week. Citigroup, Wells Fargo, Goldman, Bank of America, JP Morgan, they're all set to report Tuesday morning. So, let's keep an eye on that. In terms of the global markets, the DAX was higher, but has since pulled back this morning. It's now down 36 points, or 0.15%. Financials are positive, but the pharma stocks are weakening. The DAX is kind of flat, down 0.01%. Mining shares are higher, continued weakness in pharma. The CAC in Paris. Banks are trading higher, but luxury stocks are mixed to lower, and that's not good for that market. In Asia last night, we generally saw gains. I mean, the Nikkei jumped 1.2% overnight with strength in tech stocks, and Japan's producer prices rose 7.1% year over year in June. But the government's out there, pushing pension funds to start relocating some of their assets more into domestic securities. I guess that's kind of positive. The yen still weakening, but it did have a positive day overnight. Hong Kong was trading higher by 0.6%. Gains in tech outweighed the lingering geopolitical concerns. China dropped 1%. They got a bunch of economic data due out next week, and that's kind of like weighed on the market a bit. Turn our attention over to oil, and oil is trading higher this morning. We got WTI at $72.39. We got Brent at $76.70. Oil was lower, but due to the diplomatic signals being rather mixed, they could go either. It's ebbing and flowing, but I mean, right now we're seeing oil trading a little higher. But for the week, we're looking at 4% gains. Traffic through the Strait of Hormuz did slow down this week. Let's talk earnings action. Let's start off with Delta Airlines, ticker DAL, David Apple Larry. Stock is now lower by 0.2%. They beat by 6 cents, and they did that on higher revenue. Then you get WDFC, WD40, which is higher by 16.93% this morning. They beat by 76 cents, and they did that on higher revenue. Nice. Next week, we got earnings coming out from the big banks, and also ConAgra Brands, Cintas, Bank of New York, Morgan Stanley, Johnson & Johnson, J.B. Hunt, United Airlines, and others are all scheduled to report next week. UNH, too, is in there. In terms of economic reports, there's no real economic reports of significant today, but, Kevin Warsh did name more than a dozen external advisors to lead the 5 task force that examine how the central bank operates. And he's pulling these people from, academia and former central banker and business executives. In terms of the FANG stocks, big story is Meta with the EU telling Facebook and the EU telling the Meta that they have to make changes to the addictive features of Instagram and Facebook or risk fines. Netflix exploring TV channels and streaming bundles. Internal discussions are about about subscriber engagement. It's becoming a big focus for management. Elon Musk, Tesla, planning to colonize Mars this year. Tesla robots will be the first robots, will be the first residents. Dow Jones 30, Disney's exploring some Disney Plus content to make available without a paywall. Boeing expects FAA clearance for the 737 MAX 7 aircraft later this month. In terms of guidance, Delta guided $2 to $2.50. Street estimates $2.09. Not bad. WD-40 sees full year 2026 coming in $6.05 to $6.35. Street estimates $5.99. Nice uptick. In terms of buybacks, WFC a board announced a 100 million share repurchasing plan. In terms of catalyst calls, LVS, Las Vegas Sands, Citibank placed a 30-day downside catalyst watch on LVS. They expect their Macau numbers to decline. Okay, let's talk today's pick of the day. And, this morning today, I'm going to go with Citigroup, ticker C. Earnings are not due until Tuesday, but, you look at yesterday's action. 21,000 on the call side, 9,000 on the put side, 0.45 call put to call ratio, open interest 511 versus 652. That's not positive. I don't like to see that. But the major brokers continue to raise price targets here, and that's nice. But an entry price, I got to tell you, my entry price is $138.50. Stock is trading higher. Financials are trading higher in Europe, but I do think we could see some weakness, and I do think we're really going to see this stock start to rally late Monday and Tuesday. But I think we could, if I have a chance to get at 135.50 today, that could be a nice entry point. But that's my pick of the day, Citigroup, ticker C. Okay, let's move on. Let's talk about hot off the press. Qatari negotiators are in Iran to meet officials in an effort to de-escalate. Let's see what else we got here. Coinbase chief legal officer stepped down. OpenAI's CEO of AGI deployment, she also stepped down from her position. Bausch & Lomb says phase 2 study did not achieve primary endpoint. Microsoft UK cloud regulators are going to be protected. UK to regulate cloud service providers to protect financial stability. Google and Microsoft. Bayer says it has secured 3 billion euros in equity from Apollo. Goldman and Morgan have added rules for predictive markets to the employee codes of conduct. You'll see a lot more of that. That's all I'm seeing this morning. Okay, now we're going to move on to yesterday's pick of the day, which was Delta Airlines. Stock opened up at $87.99, fell down to $87.72, then closed, around $89. After earnings, the stock hit $92.51. So, yeah, it was a winner. There's any way you look at it, Delta Airlines achieved that 1% yesterday. All right, traders, that concludes today's NewsWare's Trade Talk podcast. You guys know what to do. Let's go out there and let's make some green.